born ready.
That's what they say. This meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act. This meeting was included in a list of meeting dates sent to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Highland Park Planet on January 7th, 2016, and was posted on the bulletin board of Borough Hall, 221 South Fifth Avenue on January 7th, 2016, and has remained continuously posted as required by law. Fire exits are to your left, to my left, and my right. If you come up to speak, please speak into the microphone, and assistive listening devices are available. Bruce Morgan, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Brill-Mittler,
Here.
Councilman Fine,
Here.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin, Councilman George,
Here.
Councilman Walsh,
Here.
Councilwoman Welkowitz,
Here.
Borough Administrator Kovac,
Here.
Borough Attorney Schmier.
Here.
May I have a resolution to appoint our new council member? Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Walsh,
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
Yes.
Matthew Hirsch, would you step up with me, please? Do you have?
I don't know
Which would you like to choose?
We have
which
versions.
version you would like to use?
Mm-hmm.
Would someone like to hold the Bible for us? Thank you, Franco. Okay, Matt, would you place your right hand on the Bible? Please repeat after me. I, Matthew Hirsch,
I, Matthew Hirsch,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of councilperson
perform all the duties of the office of councilperson
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I do further solemnly swear or affirm
I do further solemnly swear or affirm, I swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
Would you like to say so help me God?
So help me God.
Okay. Matt, I welcome you to the council. Seat.
It's over by Phil.
You sit up there. So Matt, there will be voting tonight, but because you are not aware of some of the things that we've been discussing and voting on, I would urge you to abstain. Okay. May I have a resolution to amend of resolution number 1163 regarding standing committees? Motion to adopt or reject?
Motion to adopt or reject? Motion
Which
to
one?
adopt.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch,
Abstain.
Councilman Walsh,
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
Yes.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular and conference meeting agendas held April 19th, 2016, and May 3rd, 2016, as distributed?
So moved.
Second.
Aye, or roll call? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
One abstention. Got it.
Okay. Proclamation?
I don't have any problem. Do I have that?
Mm-hmm.
Is it in your, she put it in your folder. I don't have it. I just have this one.
Okay. Franco Jurassic, are you here? Yes, you are. You were helping us before. I just want to say that this is, I believe, the second year that we will be issuing a proclamation in support of Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Week. And our own Franco Jurassic, am I pronouncing your last name? Jurassic, has been a staunch supporter of these efforts for years now. And Franco, would you like to say something about this before I read you this?
Yeah. Could I?
Yes, please.
Sure. Thank you.
Love the scarf.
Just say your name in here.
Sure. My name is Franco Jurassic, and I'm a resident of Highland Park. And so first I want to thank you for approving the proclamation and just giving me a moment to speak. I'll try and be brief. So I come to you as someone who's an 8-year and 1-day survivor. I was diagnosed on Halloween in 2008, ironically, or I don't know what. But I'm also, so I'm blessed to be a survivor. The 5-year survival rate is only 8% for pancreatic cancer, so I'm amongst that 8%, which is amazing. But I also know the other side. My father passed away 7 weeks after being diagnosed, and too many other people. I went to a wake just last week. It's never ending, seemingly. But I just want to throw out some facts. So November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, and so here's why we need to raise awareness. So I bet you didn't know that pancreatic cancer recently moved from the 4th to the 3rd leading cause of cancer-related death in the U.S., and by 2020 it's anticipated to be the 2nd leading cause. It's one of the deadliest cancers. I mentioned a survival rate of only 8%. This year, over 53,000 people, Americans, are expected to be diagnosed, and about nearly 42,000 will die of the disease. Very grim statistics. I just want to say something quick about symptoms. They're vague, and that's why by the time it's caught, often it's too late. But things to look out for are issues in your abdomen or GI tract, pain, abdominal or back pain, weight loss, jaundice, which is what happened to me and how I picked it up, loss of appetite, nausea, changes in your stool, or diabetes. There is no early detection for pancreatic cancer, so there's no mammogram, there's no colonoscopy, which is another reason why by the time these symptoms happen, the tumor has grown so large that there's often not much we can do. Surgical removal is only possible in 15% of the cases. I was blessed to be amongst those. And otherwise, there's chemo, there's radiation that could maybe shrink a tumor so that maybe you could have surgery, but that's not always possible. But there is a lot of research going on. There's a lot of money being put towards this because it's going from 4th to 3rd to 2nd very quickly, and it's awful because for most people, once they're diagnosed, shortly thereafter, they're told to get their things in order and things like that. So. I suppose. I don't know.
So, can I take questions? Yes.
Okay, you mentioned the symptoms. What is the cause?
So the cause, yeah. So there are some things we know. In about 10 or 15% of the cases, it's genetic, so it runs in the family. So in my case, I was diagnosed first, and my father was diagnosed. Alarms go off for my children, for my brother, etc. Smoking is the biggest thing. So So smoking along with all the other reasons not to. Here's one more. And diabetes is kind of a precursor to it. But because the pancreas, none of us probably can answer what the pancreas does or where it is, because it's deep inside your body, you don't feel it until it's too late. So, and I'll just mention that a week from this Sunday, there's a walk up in Parsippany, a fundraising walk-run. So if anyone is connected to it or would like to go out for a run on a Sunday and raise some money, we do a wonderful job. We raise about $500,000 every year, and there's about 2,500 people that show up. So it's a really great event. So.
Today I'm 21 years of cancer.
Congratulations. All right. We want more folks like you.
So if you could stay up there, Franco. Councilman Fine, who has been your biggest advocate and your council liaison for this, would you join me in reading the proclamation? Whereas in 2016, an estimated 53,070 people in the United States will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest cancers, and 41,780 will die from the disease. And whereas pancreatic cancer surpassed breast cancer this year to become the third leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States, and it is projected to become the second leading cause by 2020. And whereas pancreatic cancer is the only major cancer with a 5-year relative survival rate in the single digits at just 8%, and whereas when symptoms of pancreatic cancer present themselves, it is generally in later stages, and 71% of pancreatic cancer patients die within the first year of the diagnosis. And whereas approximately 1,260 deaths will occur in New Jersey in 2016, and whereas pancreatic cancer is the 7th most common cause of cancer-related death in men and women across the world, and whereas there will be an estimated 418,451 new pancreatic cancer cases diagnosed worldwide in 2020, and whereas in good health and well-being of the residents of Highland Park are enhanced as a direct result of increased awareness about pancreatic cancer and research into early detection, causes, and effective treatments. Now, therefore, I, Gail Brill-Mittler, as the mayor of the Borough of Highland Park, do hereby designate November 17th as World Pancreatic Cancer Day. Thank you. Okay, council reports. Councilman Walsh, do you have a report?
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. I would like to remind everybody that Veterans Day Parade is coming up on November 11th. It will begin at 11 a.m. at the Doughboy statue. There'll be a short ceremony, and then a parade will proceed down Raritan Avenue towards New Brunswick. This is a great opportunity for everyone to come out and support our veterans and honor and respect the sacrifices that many young men and women have made for our country. I would also like to let folks know an improv workshop for teens and seniors is occurring this fall. The improv workshop is set to happen at the Senior Center Tuesday evening, starting November 22nd from 4 to 5 p.m. All are welcome, even if you aren't a senior or teen, so please come out for this great event. The Highland Park Art Commission held our first storytelling night. I want to give a thank you to everybody who came out to tell their stories about how they got to Highland Park, and the Public Library for hosting the event with the Highland Park Art Commission. not only did we hear great stories and learn a bit about our neighbors, but we really learned a lot about the community from longtime residents and some of the history of Highland Park and how it's changed over the years. It was really great, and I encourage others to come out and to future storytelling nights that we have. I would also like to use this time just to offer a thank you to Police Chief Rizko. He actually took some time to talk to me this past week about the Highland Park Police Department, gave me an opportunity to learn about the great work that he's doing to create a police force that's serving the residents of our community. I'd like to say I was particularly impressed with his commitment to cultural sensitivity in the police department, shown through numerous trainings the police department holds on the topic. And I'd like to recognize the fact that he's here tonight. There's no requirement for him to be here. And when asked about this, he said he comes to the meetings to be accessible to members of the public who may have questions that arise through the course of the meeting about public safety or policing. And so thank you very much, Police Chief Rizko, for what you do, and to all the public servants for the great work they do to support our community. Thank you. And tonight I just want to take a second to recognize that we filled a council seat that was vacated by John Erickson, and Matt has some very big shoes to fill. John was someone who was always thoughtful and put concerns of the public above his own, first on his agenda. And, before being on the council, I had a pleasure of knowing John for many years and worked with him on an effort here in Highland Park to make Highland Park the second community in the country to ban the use of triclosan and soaps, which eventually led to the county stopping that. And most recently, the Food and Drug Administration actually moved forward with a measure to prohibit the use of triclosan and soaps throughout the country. And, John was really helped start that initiative here in the county and in the country. Similarly, I worked with him on efforts to enact paid family medical leave that was signed by Governor Corzine, and recently on policies related to earned sick leave. And replacing him is Matt Hirsch, and somebody that I've had the pleasure to work with, and since I've been here on council more closely, but he and I both were spending a lot of time working on affordable housing issues in the past at the same time when he was the editor for Shelter Force, and I was working on a lot of affordable housing issues. And so I look forward to working with you in this position, and I wish you luck in this, and you have a great responsibility to take over for Councilman Erickson, and I look forward to working with you in that effort. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Walsh. Thank you.
Councilman George, do you have a report?
I have a brief one in the interest of time, and also in the particular areas. It's the most unexcitedly nothing happening until explodes area and redevelopment, and unfortunately it's not nearly as interesting as Mr. Fine or Mr. Walsh. First, I want to congratulate but also chastise Mr. Hirsch, whom I've worked with quite a lot. That's a tough chair to fill. John had a lot of wisdom, and as I said in another time recently, he had the knack of the quiet question that stops everyone in their tracks. I don't expect you to come up to that level, but I expect you to try your damnedest. I will press the button for John on the ballot one more time in his memory, and I hope everyone else does. I'm glad to report that Highland Park's redevelopment program has taken a major step in the area in need of rehabilitation, which was approved verbally by the Planning Board very recently at their last meeting. It will come before us for a public hearing, an explanation, a discussion of what it means and how it will help us. We are awaiting the final formal recommendation and the engineer's report. It is probably the most significant step in redevelopment in the last 10 years in this town, and I look forward to being able to explain and discuss it with everyone. I don't care whether it's the BB Big or online, or I'll even give you a passenger seat slot in the MG and we'll talk about it. It's very important, and I'm glad it happened. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Hirsch, I don't think you have a report, but did you want to say anything quickly?
If I could, yeah. I just really appreciate the opportunity and the awesome responsibility, as Councilman Walsh pointed out, of being up here. And it is unfathomable to think that anybody could even replace John Erickson. I've had the privilege of working with him on a number of things for many years, but one thing that stands out is in my role on the Public Information Committee, when he first approached, when actually you, Mayor, and he first approached me about the idea for Park Partners. John walked directly at me, and he was a quiet presence on council, but I've never experienced him in this. He walked directly at me, eye contact all the way there, and told me exactly what this program was going to be about and how important it was to provide seed money for citizen innovation. And that's how John was. He spoke with purpose, and he didn't waste his words. And I had an opportunity to serve with him, to work with him on a number of things. But he viewed municipal government as a laboratory. He was an educator in municipal government. He had the answer to a lot of things, and was just one of the finest public servants that I think that I've ever met. So this is a we must carry his legacy forward, and I just am so thankful and grateful to be up here and contribute to our town.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Fine.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I only have one specific item tonight. It's actually something that Councilman Hirsch has been working on over the past while. I'm very glad to report to the residents of Highland Park that this evening the governing body is going to be introducing a municipal ID ordinance for consideration of passage on first reading by title. This is a program which has been talked about for, the governing body has talked about for and discussed for a number of years. And basically, the mayor and borough council have recognized that many residents within our municipality do not have access to various forms of identification and thus have difficulty obtaining bank accounts, access to healthcare services, and other programs and services. And I believe that the availability of borough identification cards will be very helpful to immigrants and other residents in Highland Park. It's been established that there was a dramatic decrease in robberies, armed robberies in New Haven, Connecticut, against immigrant workers after the implementation of city identification cards. And I believe, and I believe, and I know that my fellow council members on the governing body believe that the availability of borough identification cards will be positive and productive for so many of our residents. So look forward to having the opportunity to vote on the first reading, and hopefully we can move forward with adopting the program and then implementing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Fine. Council President Wilkovich.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things, please. First, from our Shade Tree Advisory Committee, or Shade Tree Advisory Council, we will be doing a fall planting of trees, borough trees throughout the municipality. Also, we will be moving ahead with the spring planting. If you are interested in having a borough tree planted on the verge in front of your property, please fill out a shade tree request form. They're available online or here at the Borough Clerk's office. You can even specify which species you would prefer. There is a list on the website of our preferred species, and the list has been compiled by the Shade Tree Advisory Council. It lists many native trees and those that we consider would be appropriate, suitable, and would survive. Also, Raritan Avenue had several trees planted years ago. Some of them have failed, and we are planning in the spring to do a replanting. I believe we've identified close to 20 different spots where we'll be planting new trees. And thanks to John Webster of Main Street for helping us identify the species, and we look forward to that project. Also, our automated garbage collection program is working extremely well, and we've been rolling it out very slowly, very methodically, and we are now going to start to expand that program to other parts of the south side, I believe. Homeowners will be notified directly, so if your home is going to be on the new path, you will receive a letter and a new trash bin, so look for that in the next coming week. Also, we're going to be rolling that part out slowly as well. It's very important for us to be careful of the weight. We want to maximize the weight for each truck, for each time the truck collects. It's the most efficient way to collect trash, so we're going to be modifying the route a little bit based on the weight of the truck. And we do that obviously to save costs which directly affect you. Also, as you know, PSE&G is continuing their work throughout town, and there are road closures that are happening. And I'd like to thank the police department, although the chief just walked out of the room. I'd like to thank them very much for beginning to now post on social media, and I believe on our website, the latest update on those road closures. I saw today there were some updates. I believe Officer Curbello is involved with that too, and I'd like to thank the chief and Captain Golden, who I spoke with about that the other day. Also tonight, we'll be voting on an ordinance to limit the locations where clothing bins can be placed. You might see them popped up all throughout town. The problem is that they can really be a safety hazard. They collect textiles, and some of them are very close to existing gas stations or service centers that hold a lot of flammable materials. So this new ordinance will help to minimize that. And lastly, I'd also like to say that when I first was even considering coming on council more than 5 years ago, the first person I talked to about it was Councilman John Erickson. He and his wife Ann welcomed me into their home. They talked to me about it. They let me ask them questions. They were very kind. They were generous with their time, and they were extremely thoughtful in their advice. And because of that, I sit here. And I'd like to welcome Matt Hirsch. Matt, you do so much already for this town. I think you might find this as a break for you now. So welcome, Matt. It's not a matter of what shoes you're going to fill. I know you're going to be a great addition to this council, so thank you.
Thank you, Council President Walkovitz.
Okay. Borough Administrator has stepped out. Borough Attorney, do you have a report?
No report, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Just a couple of things in my report today. First of all, I'm sorry, the Borough Administrator just walked in. Did you have anything to report?
No report, Mayor, thank you.
Okay. Okay, getting back to my report. So if you had the chance to walk on Raritan Avenue yesterday, anytime between, I think, 3 and 7, you were probably treated to a great Halloween event. I want to thank Main Street Highland Park and the Recreation Department here for putting together an amazing Halloween parade. Also the Board of Ed. I believe they started at Bartle School. The street was filled with little goblins, witches, dinosaurs, all kinds of creatures, walking throughout Highland Park and stopping in all the local businesses for their own candies. It was wonderful, and I have to say that many people are telling me today that last night they got more trick-or-treaters than they've had in years coming to their doorsteps. So that must have something to do with not only the great weather, but the fact that everyone was already out walking on the avenue. At Main Street, there was musical entertainment, there was music on street corners. So again, a wonderful way to safely celebrate Halloween here in Highland Park. As you know, I've been having Wednesday walks with the mayor now for years. The weather is changing, and we're bringing our workout indoors. And I want to welcome anyone who wants to join me in a yoga class at Kinetics on Thursday mornings. Please watch for our Facebook updates on the exact time and exact date it's starting, but it will start in November, and it will run through January, and maybe even longer. So please join me in a wonderful yoga workout. It doesn't matter who you are, what size you are, whether you're a man or a woman. This is a great form of exercise that you can all participate in with me. Okay. Oh, I want to also tell you about two upcoming events. First, the Human Relations Commission is sponsoring with us a fundraiser to send relief to Haiti. Councilman Fine, do you want to talk to that a little?
I guess just it would be very helpful if residents do turn out for this important event. The devastation in Haiti is an unbelievable scale, and we've done, I believe the Borough has done in the past, has run such an event, and it's been helpful, and we just encourage you all to attend.
And the event is being held on November 13th at the Borough Auditorium, and I believe it's at 1 p.m. that it starts. We will be celebrating our diverse ethnic cultures here at that event and raising money to send for relief to Haiti. And the last event I want to remind you about, I think it was you, Matt, who mentioned our Park Partners program that John and I put together a few years ago. That program is up and running again. Just so you know, it's our own form of giving back to our community. If you have an idea for a program that would benefit all of Highland Park, we need you to send in a grant application to us by, I think, December 15th. Applications are available online or in the clerk's office or downstairs at Borough Hall. We will be taking all of these applications in December, and then in February, you'll have a chance to present your idea to the residents of Highland Park, who will select their top 5 choices for this grant, and each winner will get $2,000 from us to make the grant happen. So that is one of our award-winning programs here in Highland Park, and I hope to see many of you put in an application, and certainly want to see all of you show up to vote on what you think would benefit Highland Park the most. All right, any public discussion? Mr. Gross, please come forward.
My name is Herbert Gross. I live at Adelaide Gardens. On November the 7th, over at Roosevelt Center in Edison, the American Legion and the Veterans of Foreign Wars will be hosting a bingo night for all veterans. This affair is open to everyone, regardless of where you live. We would like you to come down and show the veterans, the men and women who fought for this country. These are my brothers and my sisters. And we would like you to come down and say a couple of words of encouragement to all the veterans at the home. You don't need any appointment, maybe on your way home from work, or you're going to the shopping center. Stop in for 5 minutes and just say to the veterans, the men and women there, thank you for the freedom that I'm enjoying, that you're enjoying. on November the 11th, as the councilman mentioned before, we will be holding a memorial service at the memorial in Highland Park at 11 o'clock. And if you're free to come, please come in support of veterans. Every family, all you people on the council, you have brothers, sisters, cousins, your fathers, your grandfathers. Come out and support them. Say thank you for the freedom that you're enjoying today. Let freedom ring.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. And just to add a little more to Mr. Gross's comment about the parade will go from the Doughboy in Highland Park across the bridge to the Memorial Square in New Brunswick, and we'll be joining with our friends from New Brunswick in that parade. So come out and say hello as we march through town in memory of all our veterans and in honor of them. Thank you. Any other public discussion? I do want to ask a question. I think we'll drop this. Okay, clerk, would you report on advertising the traffic ordinance amendment, one-way street, for consideration of passage on final reading by title?
An ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Highland Park, Chapter 7 Traffic, was duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file. The ordinance was posted and made available for public inspection as required by law.
May I have a motion to take up the ordinance on final reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Any public hearing on this? Seeing none, may I have a resolution, a motion to adopt or reject and advertise the ordinance on final reading by title?
Resolution to adopt?
Second.
Motion to adopt.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch?
Abstain.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
Okay. Clerk, could you please report on the advertising towing ordinance amendment for consideration of passage on final reading by title?
An ordinance amending the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Highland Park, Chapter 407 Wreckers, was duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file. The ordinance was posted and made available for public inspection as required by law.
Okay, may I have a motion to take up the ordinance on final reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Any public hearing on this? Mrs. Bickard, please step up to the microphone.
Ruth Bickard, 307 Magnolia Street. Yeah, can you explain what this is? There's this totally destroyed car sitting on our block, and I had gone to the police department to find out about having it towed away, and it hasn't happened.
So this doesn't have anything to do with a resident talking about a towing situation. It is a change in the
Fees at the tows.
right, the fees that the tow companies that are allowed to operate in Highland Park are charged.
Oh,
But to your question, I think just speak with the chief about the issue.
I'll do that afterwards.
Okay, thank you. Okay, may I have a resolution to adopt or reject or advertise the ordinance on final reading by title? Motion, please.
Motion to adopt?
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch?
Abstain.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
Clerk, can you please report on advertising the traffic ordinance amendment stop sign for consideration of passage on final reading by title?
An ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Highland Park, Chapter 7, traffic was duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title. Affidavits of publication are on file. The ordinance was posted and made available for public inspection as required by law.
Okay, may I have a motion to take up the ordinance on final reading by title?
So moved?
Second.
Okay. Any public hearing on this? All right, then. May I have a motion to adopt or reject the resolution and advertise the ordinance on final reading by title?
Motion to adopt?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch?
Abstain.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
Okay, Clerk, could you please report on introduction of clothing bin ordinance for consideration of passage on first reading by title?
An ordinance of the Borough of Highland Park regulating clothing bins and amending the code of the Borough of Highland Park has been introduced in writing by the Public Safety Committee for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
May I have a motion to adopt or reject and advertise the ordinance on first reading by title?
Motion to adopt?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
Clerk, would you report, please, on the introduction of the municipal ID ordinance for consideration of passage on first reading by title?
An ordinance amending Part 2 of the Code of the Borough of Highland Park by creating a Highland Park identification card program has been introduced in writing by the council as a whole for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
May I have a motion to adopt or reject and advertise the ordinance on first reading by title?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilman George?
I just want to make a brief comment on the importance of this that people may not realize. It's not just a nice thing to do in Highland Park, but as a municipal prosecutor with a vicinage that covers most of Route 78 in Hunterdon County, I see many, many people of all ethnic and diverse backgrounds who are in trouble with the police simply because they have no identification, and not just because they forgot it, but they have no means of identification. And even out there, the state troopers that I deal with all the time say all the time that these programs are more and more and more important. I think we need to just look beyond our own selves and hope that more towns adopt this. It is an important first step in identification and a first step in integration, and I vote yes.
Councilman Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
Okay. And I do want to add to what Councilman George just said about the program. When I first joined council in 2009, it was one of the issues that we were trying to address here. And I want to congratulate Councilman Fine and new Councilman Hirsch on actually making this happen 7 years later. Thank you both.
Thank
Who
you.
said government doesn't work fast? Sorry. Okay, consent agenda. May I have a motion to adopt the following stored items, numbers 18 through
30.
number 30.
So moved?
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Sometimes you have to look this way.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
Okay, may I have a motion to adopt or reject Chapter 159 Community Development Block Grant?
So moved?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
Yes.
All right. I am appointing Eli Goldstein and Matthew Schrader as student members to Sustainable Highland Park. May I have a motion to confirm?
Motion to confirm.
Roll call, please. Oh, second.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine?
Yes.
Councilman George?
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Walsh?
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz?
I'd just like to say I'd like to welcome these two very enthusiastic students to join along with our existing student volunteer, Sophia McDermott Hughes. So we've got a really nice team. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, any public discussion? Mrs. Bickard?
I just want to add to your resolution on the ID, photo ID. If you recall, a couple of weeks ago, I asked you where do I go. I couldn't find my ID card, and it was really nerve-wracking. I finally found it, not where I didn't even know how it got there. And what saved me was that many years ago, New Brunswick already got a county ID. And I was able to use that even though I didn't live in New Brunswick anymore. But they accepted it because, and so I think it's a wonderful thing. That's all.
And I do want to add that I'm hoping that as all of our residents do come down to Borough Hall when we have this pulled together so that we can issue these IDs to everyone in Highland Park. I think we'll be doing it over at the Senior Center, if I'm Borough Administrator?
Yes,
Okay.
by appointment.
By appointment, yes. And you'll see more information about this once we get this up and running. Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn to conference?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.